Welcome once again to the Ahern video podcast. I want to talk today about planning for the future. Every day I receive emails or telephone calls and they're saying, we came through one of the worst winters we've had since the Great Depression. I wasn't around in the Great Depression, but I can tell you that the people I talk to say that it's the worst winter we've had in 100 years. And so the question becomes, how can you plan for the unexpected? And the answer is, you can plan for the unexpected, not necessarily weather, but you can put into your budget a certain catastrophe fund predicated on certain things that you cannot control. That's part of business planning. I'm a firm believer that today in the trucking industry, you have to plan. You have to think outside the box. If you have trucks, you have to treat them as profit centers. If you have drivers, you have to treat them as profit centers, because those drivers control maintenance costs to a certain extent. They control fuel costs to a certain extent. I'm also a firm believer that you have to treat each customer as a profit center, and that's something new. If a customer continually tells you that if you're a reefer carrier, they're going to fight you on your fuel surcharge, but then on top of it, you're not going to get any reefer fuel surcharge, they're telling you that they really don't care about your issues. They don't care about your operating expenses. Granted, shippers are going to move around just because if they can get a lower rate, but it's important to understand that today it's not just rates, it's capacity. So let's say if you are a reefer company and you're not getting your reefer fuel surcharge, shame on you, ask for it. I've done some analysis on carriers that haven't given rate increases in 7 years. Also, you need to analyze your out-of-service units daily. Why are they out of service? How long they've been out of service? How much revenue have we lost? Because that's very important. If you've got a maintenance department, set up controls. So if you don't set up controls, maintenance costs can eat you alive. What kind of road repair service program do you have? What kind of tire program do you have? I constantly hear, well, I buy recaps on the road. Well, why would you buy a recap on the road? First of all, most of your experts say, and I'm not an expert, but most of the experts that we utilize in our consulting practice state that a recap over 5 years you don't want in the first place. Number two, when you're buying somebody else a recap on the road, it's somebody else's junk. So you need to think about that. But the point I'm making is you have to treat your business as your business. You have to look at every line item expense. And planning is all about increasing revenue, increasing profitability, decreasing expenses. Many times I get calls from people that said, I planned my growth, so I added all this staff, but the growth didn't occur, so now I've got an operating loss. Well, why would you staff before you got your growth? Why not get your growth and then start staffing? To me, it's very simple. The other thing you need to do is you need to treat your people as a profit center. I think too many times we assume that our employees know what we want, but we don't give them specific goals and objectives. We don't give them time frames to accomplish the goals and objectives, and then there's no carrot for them to chase. For example, Jim, I want you to run the company. Jim, I want you to turn a profit. Jim, I want you to do this. Jim, I want you to handle this catastrophe. Jim, I want you to do this. Well, where's the plan? Where's the time frame? And where's the carrot? Where's the carrot to chase? You got to think about all these things, because if you're building a company, your people are your most important asset, or your worst liability. How many times have you seen companies fail because what do? They don't hire experienced people. Why? Because inexperienced people are cheaper. But are inexperienced people cheaper? The answer is no. I mean, trucking is a tough business. It's a pennies business. It's a cyclical business. It all revolves around planning and accountability. So if I was to sum up what you should do in a business, it's treat each truck as a profit center, treat each driver as a profit center, treat each employee as a profit center, treat each customer as a profit center. Then set specific goals and objectives, time frames to accomplish the goals and objectives, and then move forward. Until next time, thank you for attending the podcast.